Iceland script right then. Picture this. You're scrolling through holiday destinations online, dreaming of your next adventure, when suddenly you stumble across a photo that stops you dead in your tracks. It's otherworldly, almost alien-like, with steaming geysers, crystalline blue ice caves, and landscapes that look like they've been plucked straight from a fantasy film. That, my friends, is Iceland. And trust me, what I'm about to tell you will completely change how you see this incredible Nordic island. Now, I know what you're thinking. Iceland, isn't that just a freezing cold rock in the middle of nowhere? Well, prepare to have your mind absolutely blown, because this extraordinary country is hiding secrets that'll make your jaw drop to the floor. Let me start with something that'll knock your socks off straight away. Remember that epic scene in Prometheus where the engineers are doing their mysterious ritual? Yep, that was filmed in Iceland. What about that breathtaking waterfall chase in The Secret Life of Walter Mitty? Iceland again. Those dramatic, windswept landscapes in Game of Thrones and the alien world of Interstellar. You guessed it, all filmed in this remarkable country that has become Hollywood's go-to destination for out-of-this-world scenery. But here's the thing that really gets me excited about Iceland. It is not just a pretty face. This place is absolutely bursting with the most fascinating, bizarre, and downright unbelievable facts you've ever heard. I'm talking about a country where the sun never sets in summer, where elves are taken so seriously they change construction plans, and where you'll find more sheep than people wandering about. So buckle up, because we're about to embark on a journey through 100 absolutely mind-bending facts about Iceland that'll leave you booking flights before you've finished watching. Let's kick things off with something truly magical, shall we? Due to its prime location near the Arctic Circle, Iceland is hands down one of the best places on Earth to witness the northern lights in all their glory. These ethereal green curtains start dancing across the sky from mid-September onwards. And honestly, seeing them is like watching nature put on the most spectacular light show you could ever imagine. But wait, it gets even more extraordinary. During Iceland's summer months, you experience something called the midnight sun, and it's every bit as magical as it sounds. Picture this. You wake up at midnight, glance out your window, and it's bright as day. The nights are crystal clear and brilliantly white, like stepping into a fairy tale. You can actually see the moon during what appears to be broad daylight. It's absolutely bonkers and utterly enchanting at the same time. Now flip that completely on its head, because winter brings the polar night, where the sun plays hide and seek for 24 hours straight. It's like living in a completely different world, where darkness becomes your constant companion. Speaking of winter, let me tell you about how Icelanders do Christmas, because they don't mess about when it comes to festive celebrations. The entire country goes absolutely mental for Christmas, and I mean that in the best possible way. Everyone's decked out in the most brilliant Christmas jumpers you've ever seen, covered in reindeer, Santa Claus, and every festive pattern imaginable. The excitement and joy is absolutely infectious. The stunning winter landscapes here are something else entirely. Imagine vast expanses of pristine white snow stretching as far as the eye can see, punctuated by dramatic black volcanic peaks and steaming hot springs. It's like Mother Nature decided to show off her artistic skills. Here's something that'll blow your mind. Iceland wasn't always called Iceland. Originally, it went by the name Snæland, which was coined by a Viking navigator called Nadad, one of the first brave souls to settle in the remote Faroe Islands. Can you imagine being that adventurous back in those days? The capital city, Reykjavik, holds the prestigious title of being the world's northernmost capital. Just let that sink in for a moment. You literally at the top of the world when you visit. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. Iceland has earned the absolutely perfect nickname of the land of ice and fire. And the statistics behind this are mind-blowing. Get this, 11% of the entire country is covered by glaciers, whilst a whopping 30% is blanketed by ancient lava fields. It's like the planet couldn't decide between freezing you solid or setting you ablaze, so it went with both. When it comes to size, Iceland is no tiny island nation. It's actually the second largest island in all of Europe, with only Great Britain beating it. That's pretty impressive for a country most people couldn't point out on a map. The traditional houses here are absolutely charming. Think cozy wooden structures with grass roofs that look like they V-sprouted straight from the earth itself. They're perfectly designed to withstand the harsh Nordic climate, whilst looking absolutely picture-perfect. Now here is something that might surprise you about Icelandic culture. Parents go and just name their children whatever they fancy. There's an official approved list of roughly 1,800 names for each gender, and you've got to stick to it. Imagine having to check a government list before naming your baby. It's quite different from the anything goes approach we're used to. The surname system here is fascinating too. Instead of passing down family names, Icelanders create surnames using their father's or mother's first name, adding son for boys or dóttir for girls. So if your dad was called Magnus, you'd be Magnus's son or Magnus's daughter. It's beautifully simple when you think about it. Let me teach you a few essential Icelandic phrases, though I'll warn you now. The pronunciation is absolutely mental. Hello is hallo, which sounds pretty manageable. Thank you is tak, which is lovely and short. Yes is ja. No is nay, and goodbye is bless. That last one always makes me smile. Imagine saying bless instead of cheerio. The most popular names here tell an interesting story. For blokes, you've got Jayon Sigurda and Gudmundur topping the charts, whilst the ladies favor Gudrun, Anna, and Kristen. These names carry centuries of Nordic heritage with them. Here is something that might make you feel a bit short. Icelanders are among the tallest people on the planet. The average chap stands at about 5 feet 11, whilst women average around 5 feet 6. Must be all that fresh air and clean living. One of the most spectacular sights you absolutely must see is the Great Geyser. That's where the word geyser actually comes from. This natural wonder can shoot boiling water up to 80 meters into the air. That's like watching a liquid skyscraper erupting from the ground. Now, let's talk numbers for a moment. Iceland has fewer than 400,000 people living there. But get this, there are 600,000 sheep wandering about. The sheep literally outnumber the humans. You'll be more likely to bump into a woolly friend than another person in many parts of the country. I won't sugarcoat it. Iceland isn't exactly what you'd call budget-friendly. A basic meal at a cheap restaurant will set you back around $40. A simple Coke costs about $3. An imported beer can be more than $7. And don't get me started on accommodation. A one-bedroom flat can easily cost $1,600 monthly, depending on where you're looking. Here's where things get wonderfully weird. Elves, or hidden people as they're renowned locally, have been woven into Icelandic culture since the Vikings first set foot on the island. Now, most Icelanders don't actively believe in elves. But here is the fascinating bit. A huge chunk of the population is willing to completely rule out their existence either. It's like a collective, just-in-case mentality. There are 4 special holidays throughout the year that are believed to have strong connections to the elf community. New Year's Eve, 13th night on January 6th, Summer Night, and Christmas Night. These aren't just random dates, they're deeply embedded in Icelandic folklore. On New Year's Eve, locals light candles specifically to guide these elves on their journeys as they search for new homes. It's such a beautiful tradition when you think about it. Imagine an entire country lighting up to help mythical beings find their way. The waters around Iceland are absolutely teeming with whales, making it one of the world's premier whale-watching destinations. You can spot these magnificent creatures all around the island. And in the northern fjords, there's actually a permanent whale population that calls these waters home year. Despite the high cost of living, the average salary here is roughly $3,600 monthly, making it one of the highest paying countries globally. Not too shabby when you consider the quality of life and stunning naturals. Now, let me introduce you to one of Iceland's most infamous traditional dishes, hakar, or fermented shark. This delicacy is made from Greenland shark meat that's buried under stones for months, then dried. The final product has such a strong ammonia smell that it'll make your eyes water from across the room. It's definitely an acquired taste, and by acquired, I mean most people never acquire it. Here's a brilliant bit of history. Alcohol was completely banned in Iceland about a century ago, but gradually, most alcoholic beverages were legalized. Beer, however, remained illegal until March 1st, 1989. Apparently, this strange contrast in alcohol laws has given Icelanders quite the reputation for being able to handle their drink. The most famous thermal waters in all of Iceland are found at the Blue Lagoon, a geothermal spa that looks like something from another planet. The milky blue waters maintain a perfect temperature between 37 to 39 degrees Celsius and are packed with silica and sulfur that's supposedly brilliant for your skin. Puffins are absolutely everywhere in Iceland. These adorable seabirds with their colorful beaks are not just admired by tourists. They're actually considered a traditional food. In fact, some locals eat the heart completely raw as part of traditional meals. The Westman Islands host the world's largest colony of Atlantic puffins, making it a birdwatcher's paradise. Iceland has its very own horse breed, the Icelandic horse, which is surprisingly compact but incredibly hardy. These beautiful animals are perfectly adapted to the challenging terrain and weather conditions. In Thingvellir National Park, you'll find one of only 2 places on Earth where you can actually observe the boundary between major tectonic plates. The North American and Eurasian plates are slowly drifting apart right before your eyes. It's like watching geology in real time. This same park holds incredible historical significance as the location where Iceland as Parliament was established in 930 AD, making it one of the oldest parliamentary sites in the world. Imagine the discussions and decisions that have taken place on this very ground over more than 1,000 years. The suffix foss in Icelandic means waterfall, and trust me, there are some absolutely spectacular ones to discover. Hraunfossa, the lava waterfall, is particularly mesmerizing because the water appears to flow directly from solid lava rock. It's like magic happening right in front of you. Dettifoss is an absolute monster of a waterfall, 45 meters high and 100 meters wide, with water thundering over the edge at 400 cubic meters per second. Since Iceland is technically part of Europe, this makes Dettifoss the most powerful waterfall on the continent. The sound alone is absolutely incredible. Reynisfjara, known as the Black Beach of the Trolls, is unlike any beach you've ever seen. The black volcanic sand contrasts dramatically with white foam from crashing waves, whilst massive basaltic rock formations jut out of the sea. Local legend claims these rocks are actually trolls who were caught by sunlight and turned to stone. Whether you believe in trolls or not, the landscape is absolutely stunning. The YouTube scene in Iceland is surprisingly vibrant, with creators like the blues rock band mentioned in various content, plus talented photographers sharing the incredible landscapes with the world. You might recognize Hoff, or Julius Björnsson, who played the mountain in Game of Thrones. This absolute unit of a man, standing over 2 meters tall, is one of the world's strongest humans and proudly represents Iceland on the global stage. Iceland has produced some brilliant actresses who've made their mark internationally, bringing Icelandic talent to screens around the world. Here is something progressive that'll make you proud. Iceland became the first country in the world to make it illegal to pay men more than women for equal work. They're not just talking about equality, they're actually enforcing it legally. If you're planning a visit and want to save some cash, hitchhiking is surprisingly common and generally safe. Icelanders are known for their friendliness and willingness to pick up travelers. Just be prepared if you're in a remote area. You might be waiting for hours without seeing a single car. Icelanders have an incredibly strong work ethic. In fact, Iceland leads Europe in working hours, with the average work week stretching to 43.5 hours. They don't mess about when it comes to getting things done. Here's a fun fact that might surprise you. Icelandic women have won Miss World 3 times, giving them the highest ratio of beauty pageant winners per capita. Not bad for a small island nation. The wind here is so varied and important to daily life that the Icelandic language has developed over 100 different words just to describe different types of wind, from gentle breezes to howling gales. They've got a specific term for every variation. Icelandic Christmas mythology gets properly dark, with a fearsome giantess who supposedly lives in the mountains and comes down during Christmas to hunt naughty children. It's like the polar opposite of jolly old Santa Claus. There's also the tradition of the Yule cat, a massive feline that roams the snowy fields during Christmas. Legend says if you haven't received new clothes by Christmas Eve, this enormous cat will devour you. Talk about motivation to do your Christmas shopping early. Life expectancy in Iceland is impressively high, to 83 years for women and 84 men, making it one of the longest-lived populations in the world. All that clean air and active lifestyle clearly pays off. The population split is fairly even, with about 48% women and 52% men. And the average age is 38.4 years, suggesting a healthy, balanced society. Iceland's water is so pure, it doesn't require any treatment whatsoever. You can literally drink straight from taps, streams, and natural sources without a care in the world. It's some of the cleanest water on the planet. Every single Icelander speaks English fluently alongside their native tongue, and they also learn Danish, though they rarely use it in daily conversation. This makes it incredibly easy for English-speaking tourists to get around. A fascinating genetic study revealed that most of the men who originally settled Iceland were of Nordic origin, whilst the majority of women came from Ireland. This unique genetic mix has created the modern Icelandic population. Here is something that'll now amaze you. Iceland is the only country in the world where ants don't exist. The climate is simply too harsh for these industrious insects to survive, making it an ant-free zone. Geologically speaking, Iceland sits directly on the Mid-Atlantic Ridge, the boundary between the American and European tectonic plates. This means half the country is technically in America and half in Europe. You could literally stand with one foot on each continent. Iceland's volcanic activity is absolutely staggering. There are about 130 volcanoes, with 30 currently active. The ground beneath your feet is literally alive with geological activity. Despite having only about 12 professional footballers, Iceland's national team managed to knock England out of Euro 2016. Talk about David versus Goliath. Their passionate fans and incredible team spirit proved that sometimes heart matters more than numbers. Here's something unique. Iceland is the only NATO member that doesn't have an army. They've managed to maintain their security through diplomacy and alliances rather than military might. The word duvet actually comes from Arden, referring to the incredibly soft feathers of Icelandic ducks that were traditionally used to fill bedding. So every time you snuggle under your duvet, you're experiencing a bit of Icelandic heritage. The road system here is quite interesting. There's really only one decent road, the Ring Road Route 1 that circles the entire island. As road numbers get higher, conditions get progressively worse. It's a simple system that works perfectly for the terrain. Near Geological Glacial Lake, you'll discover Diamond Beach, where enormous chunks of glacial ice wash up on black volcanic sand. These crystal-clear ice formations scattered across the dark beach look exactly like giant diamonds, creating one of the most photographed scenes in Iceland. Icelanders are absolutely mad about books and music. They read more books per person than almost any other country, and nearly everyone plays some kind of musical instrument. It's a culture that truly values arts and creativity. Holgar, Maskirsiadi, iconic church in Reykjavik, is designed to look like solidified lava flows. At 74.5 meters tall, it is the highest building in the country and serves as a stunning architectural representation of Iceland's volcanic heritage. Only 23% of Iceland's territory actually has vegetation, whilst 14% remains permanently covered in ice. The rest is primarily lava fields and rocky terrain, shaped by thousands of years of volcanic activity. Some of Iceland's rivers flow warm, even in the depths of winter, because they reheated by geothermal activity, reaching temperatures of 50 degrees Celsius. Imagine encountering a warm river while surrounded by snow and ice. Lehemaj Kul Glacier offers an incredible hiking experience where you can walk on solidified lava while surrounded by brilliant white ice. It's located between the Katla and Eyjafjall, creating a landscape that's both beautiful and slightly ominous. The ice caves formed within glaciers are absolutely magical. The ice ranges from pure white to the most incredible turquoise blue, creating natural cathedrals of frozen water that change with light and season. With all this geothermal activity, Iceland has become a leader in renewable energy. Geothermal power plants use steam from deep within the earth to generate clean electricity, making the country almost entirely energy independent. Internet connectivity here is absolutely brilliant. You'll find Wi-Fi signals throughout the entire island, even in the most remote locations. You're likely to stay connected. Jules Verne drew inspiration from the Icelandic volcano Snæfellsjökull on the Snæfellsnes Peninsula when writing Journey to the Center of the Earth. The dramatic volcanic landscape sparked one of literature's greatest adventure stories. Here is something that might shock parents from other countries. Icelanders practice Nordic napping, where babies are left in their prams outside shops, cafes, and restaurants, while parents go about their business. It's considered completely normal and safe, showing the incredible trust and safety levels in Icelandic society. The national flower is the eight-petaled Dreis, a lovely white flower with bright yellow centers that manages to thrive in the harsh conditions. Iceland's national animal is the Geirfalcon, a magnificent bird of prey, perfectly adapted to the Arctic environment. Svi is another traditional dish that might test your culinary courage. It is a sheep's head cut in half, cleaned of hair and brains, then boiled. Sometimes, it's cured in lactic acid for extra flavor. Icelanders absolutely love ice cream. Regardless of weather conditions, their favorite creation is bragarfa, a mixture of ice cream with various sweets, crushed biscuits, licorice, and fruits mixed in. At Skogafoss waterfall, local legend tells of the first Viking settler who buried treasure in a cave behind the falling water. Supposedly, if you spot the treasure chest and grab the handle, it vanishes before you can claim it. The beaches at Itritunga and Hvitans are perfect spots for seal watching. These curious marine mammals often bask on the shores, providing incredible wildlife viewing opportunities. Near Drangsens, in the West Fjords, you'll find natural hot springs at Regjanes where you can soak for free, maintained by generous locals who ask nothing in return for this incredible experience. The Westfjords Heritage Museum in Isafjordur showcases the region's maritime history in one of the oldest buildings in the city, offering insights into traditional Icelandic life. Reykjavik's most famous sculpture is the Sun Voyager, a striking steel structure resembling a Viking ship, designed by J.N. Gunnar Arneson to commemorate the city's bicentennial. It represents the promise of undiscovered territory and dreams of hope, progress, and freedom. Loguvir, the longest and oldest street in Iceland, stretches 2 kilometers through central Reykjavik. Its name means Water Street because it was originally the path people took to reach hot springs for washing clothes. New waterfalls appear regularly as glaciers melt and retreat. Until 2007, Glimmer at 197 meters was the country's highest waterfall. But then more surface emerged at 228 meters, claiming the title. The Palan Natural History Museum in Reykjavik features an incredible glass dome and even recreates a glacier cave inside, complete with authentic sounds, ice, and temperatures of -15 degrees Celsius. While Icelanders enjoy football, basketball, volleyball, and horseback riding, their national sport is actually handball. They're incredibly passionate about it and quite successful internationally. Iceland originally had only 7 species of wild terrestrial mammals: Arctic fox, reindeer, mink, field mouse, house mouse, brown rat, and black rat. It's a surprisingly limited native fauna. There are no trains or underground transport systems anywhere in Iceland. People get around by car, on foot, or by bus in Reykjavik. The infrastructure is beautifully simple. Keisturhakarl is another traditional delicacy, a type of pudding made from cod's stomach filled with cod liver. It sounds absolutely mental, but it's been sustaining Icelanders for generations. Brennivín, nicknamed Black Death, is Iceland's signature spirit, made from fermented potato mash and flavored with caraway seeds. It's definitely an acquired taste that packs quite a punch. It's illegal to keep snakes, lizards, or turtles as pets in Iceland. Dogs require special permits, but cats are completely welcome. The priorities seem perfectly reasonable. Boxing was actually banned until 2002 because authorities believed it incited violence. It's interesting how perspectives on sports can change over time. The highest peak is Hanadalsnur at 2,110 meters, located northeast of the Graveshkol volcano. The biggest challenge isn't climbing it. It's pronouncing the name correctly. There are virtually no mosquitoes in Iceland. The only preserved specimen sits in the Icelandic Institute of Natural History. Captured in an airplane cabin during the 1980s, Icelanders hold the world record for Nobel Prizes per capita. They only have one winner, Huldufólk, who won the 1955 Literature Prize, but with such a small population, The ratio is unbeatable. The cliffs at Letrabjarg, Cape House, millions of seabirds, making it Europe's largest bird cliff. The noise and spectacle are absolutely overwhelming. Despite the northern location, the University of Iceland maintains a small banana plantation, producing fruit every 18 months thanks to geothermal heating and artificial lighting. Vatnajökull is Europe's largest glacier by volume and second largest by area, covering 8% of Iceland's entire landmass. It's like having a frozen continent within a country. Icelandic children place their shoes in bedroom windows every night for 13 days before Christmas, awaiting visits from the 30 mule lads, each bringing small gifts. It's their version of Advent calendars. Iceland maintains a genetic information bank of all its inhabitants, plus an extensive genealogical database. With such a small, relatively isolated population, they can trace family connections back centuries. The Harpa Concert Hall in Reykjavik features a stunning facade made of glass pieces in various sizes and shapes that reflect both sky and sea, creating an ever-changing kaleidoscope effect. Iceland boasts 3 national parks, including Europe's largest Vatnajökull National Park. There's also each offering unique geological and historical experiences. With 1.5 vehicles per inhabitant, Iceland has one of the world's highest car ownership rates. Given the terrain and weather, reliable transportation is absolutely essential. Construction projects are regularly altered or roads diverted to avoid disturbing rocky areas believed to house elf dwellings or churches. The respect for folklore is genuinely touching. The local museum in Ísafjarðar, dating to 1734, is Iceland's oldest building. Traditional Icelandic houses display their construction year on the facade, creating a walking timeline of architectural history. Finally, Icelanders are absolutely obsessed with hot dogs, pilsur in Icelandic. There is a famous street vendor in Reykjavik that gained international recognition when Bill Clinton declared they served the best hot dogs in the world. And there you have it, 100 absolutely fascinating facts about Iceland that prove this remarkable country is so much more than just a cold rock in the North Atlantic. From elves influencing construction projects to the world's purest water flowing from taps. From midnight sun to polar nights, from volcanic beaches to glacial caves, Iceland truly is one of the most extraordinary places on Earth. Whether you're drawn by the stunning landscapes that have captivated Hollywood directors, the rich cultural traditions that blend ancient folklore with modern life, or simply the promise of experiencing something completely different from anywhere else in the world, Iceland offers adventures and discoveries that will stay with you forever. If you've been to Iceland yourself, I'd absolutely love to hear about your experiences in the comments below. What surprised you most? What would you add to this list? And if you haven't been yet, well, I reckon this video might just have convinced you to start planning your next adventure. Give this video a thumbs up if you've learned something new today. Share it with anyone who loves travel or fascinating facts. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more incredible content about the most amazing places on our planet. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and remember, the world is far more extraordinary than we ever imagined. Cheers, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. If you liked it, please like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!